Hello.
How are you, Pat?
Can you hear me? Is my mic working okay? Is it coming in and out?
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay.
How are you?
Please don't validate the word racism, please.
I'm joking.
I know you was.
I agree. I don't. But the thing is, whenever I do use these terms, I actually use them in a mocking way. Like you. I think we have to acknowledge their existence, but to show that these words have no power over us. So, for anyone that doesn't know you, Pat, please introduce yourself to the audience. We've got a good numbers on. We've got nearly 900 watching live now.
Okay, so my name's Pat McGinnis. I've been in this struggle since about 2012 when I joined the BNP up until 2021. Certain things happened in the BNP which was out of the members' control, and BNP is no longer functional. So we started the National Housing Party, and I've been campaigning for National Housing Party since 2022, and things are going well. And yeah, that's about it, really.
So, Pat, we've now to start liking Muslims. Is that what it is? Muslims are the good guys.
Well, it's interesting because you know, a lot of people have been upset with it. A lot of people have been very happy with it on our side of the fence, so to speak. Like, you know, saying, "Oh, you finally realise." Well, actually, I've known for quite a long time that 9/11 was done by Mossad, and there were so many things what were repercussion from that. You know, Lee Rigby, 7/7. You know, if that didn't happen, those things wouldn't have happened, because they was all from the invasions of the Middle East, the illegal wars, and you know, ISIS was created because of Iraq, and that was created by CIA, Mossad intelligence as well. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you know, a lot of people have been saying about the grooming gangs, yeah, and you know, I was in the BNP, I know about the grooming gangs. You know, Tommy Robinson was calling the BNP racist all the time, and the BNP were the ones who exposed the grooming gang scandal. So what I would say is that tweet I put out, it was obviously to do with the invasions of the Middle East, and all of a sudden, because Israel is being attacked, the media are pushing this anti-Muslim sentiment. They wasn't doing that with the grooming gangs, were they?
No, you were specifically told you're not allowed to talk about it. You know, that's whereas, yeah. I mean, look, Pat, this
no. Let me just say one more thing. So people like Nigel Farage on GB News, who is now literally saying that these people need to be deported, who are on these marches and everything, he wouldn't go near the grooming gangs years ago when the BNP were talking about grooming gangs. And you know, the grooming gangs are terrible, and obviously I didn't want Muslims to come into our country in the first place. The grooming gangs is a separate issue to what my tweet was. Put it like that.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, Pat, like what you actually did, and it is impressive. Look, it had millions of views, and then you did a video of it as well, and it's gone pretty viral. And I do think this is a key part to this, Pat, and I salute you for actually taking a brave stance on this, because there's a lot of problems with mass immigration into this country. It isn't. I think the point you're trying to get across is it's not just Muslims. It's like, correct. Tina sent me something today about an Indian guy that raped someone in Gravesend. You'd be like, this isn't just necessarily a religious problem. I think it's much more of a cultural problem. If you're importing people from that part of the world, the chances of rape, the chances of acid attacks are significantly higher. Doesn't really matter whether you're a Hindu, a Sikh, or a Muslim. In these cultures, that's just how they tend to solve their problems.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the grooming gangs, the Muslim grooming gangs, definitely have a link to their religion. I do believe that, and they definitely deliberately targeted white English girls.
Yeah,
which by the politically correct state should have been a hate crime, but they never charge anyone with that hate crime. But also another thing which is really important, if these Pakistanis came into our country in 1910, when there's a Victorian society, they wouldn't have had access to these girls, because they've all befriended them through having sex with them, and this is just not a Christian thing. Our whole society has fallen apart. All this free love's been promoted.
They rape these young girls, but I mean, I agree.
But initially,
this wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened 100 years ago, when these girls would have had mums and dads to stop it from happening.
Initially, they befriend them like their boyfriend, and then they start raping them after that. It wasn't like they go and drag them off the street and drag them. You're right. That's why it's called grooming gangs, and it's no different to the Epstein Island grooming gang.
Yeah,
they were Jewish. You got Giselle Maxwell and what's his name, Jeffrey Epstein. Tommy Robinson won't speak about that. No. And
remember the young girl, the British girl that was raped in Cyprus by a gang of Israelis. Like they look, there is a deliberate attempt to solely put all the world's problems on Islam, when clearly it's not Muslims that run the United States of America. It's not Muslims that run this country. Now, look, Muslims are starting to hold power. Muslims are taking over councils. They're taken over as politicians, but they don't run this country, because that is clear with our support for the state of Israel. Therefore, we are part of the Zionist organized system that exists in the West. Yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, the Muslims, like I said, I don't think this would have happened if we would have a strong Christian society. I mean, like I've said it before, I didn't want them coming into the country in the first place. I didn't want any immigration. When I was in the BNP, we saw all immigration as a problem, not just Muslim immigration. Obviously, the grooming gangs was exceptionally bad, and but at the same time, I've met loads of Muslims, and they're just not like those sort of people. So my thing is that we've got to get on with these people. Obviously, if they've committed a crime, they need to be convicted, and if they can be, deported. But as you know, it's very difficult to deport people once you give them citizenship.
See, that's the other problem you've got, Pat, is there is a bit of debate on what I would call the genuine nationalists. I don't regard Tommy Robinson and Lawrence Fox as genuine nationalists.
No.
I think they are Zionist-controlled shills, right? But on the genuine nationalist side, which I count people like yourself, Steve Laws, Nick Griffin, Jada Franson, and others, there's a lot of good people there. Like there's a lot of talk about going straight to repatriation. Now, I of course believe in free speech and expanding the political conversation. What is your take on that? Is that possible to just start deporting people en masse?
No, not if they're legally settled and they've been given citizenship. The way I see it, right, is I didn't invite. Right, let's just say there's 20 million immigrants who've settled here, right? That's that number, 20 million people, is more than the population of Scandinavia, an area like that, right? This is how big that number of people is. I didn't invite them here. I wouldn't have invited them here. So why is it my responsibility to climb an impossible mountain and campaign to remove them? It's just ridiculous. And, at the end of the day, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. There isn't a party who's standing in elections right now with that repatriation policy, okay? And the National Front tried it, and they never won one single local council seat, okay? And many people realised that boat had sailed, and it's not. But there's people starting to. I'm not going to name any names because I don't, But people are starting to talk about it again. And if they couldn't do it back then, it's even worse now. We're even more intertwined. Even more people have got nieces and nephews who are mixed ethnicity. I just can't understand. And like I said before, there isn't a party who even stands in it's hard enough to even persuade the British public to stop immigration. Most of the British public won't even agree to that, let alone
if you speak to your average normie, they'll still say, I mean, I've got nothing against them coming here legally, because they're programmed to say that, whereas most people don't realize that. So Pat, here's the other thing. What white people are being slaughtered just now, right? We're being attacked, we're being replaced. I mean, there's no white people anywhere. How can you like have a thing where white people aren't treated like that, but embrace sort of not embrace multiculturalism, but understand what it is?
Well, as a party, we're never going to say that we like multiculturalism. We're never going to say it was a good idea, and I'm never going to say that immigration was good for this country, because I am completely against it. I'm a nationalist. I don't think that foreign nationals should be given citizenship of a foreign country. End of story. But it's happened, and what we can do, we can still fight for our rights. You know, BNP was so far ahead of so many other people. You know, they had the Rights for Whites campaign in the 90s, and it all came true. Like, whites are under attack, like you said. And one of our policies is to scrap the Equalities Act. And this Equalities Act is the reason why they're advertising for jobs now, saying white people can't apply for certain jobs. And the reasoning they give for that is that they say, oh, there's too many white people in that industry, so we've got to force ethnic minorities into that industry so that you're not breaking the Equalities Act. And that's how they're doing it. So we want to scrap the Equalities Act. I'm a believer that if you run your own business, you should be able to deal with who you want to deal with, and the state shouldn't be telling you who you can do business with. So we're campaigning on that, you know. But like I say, at the same time, we have to accept that we do live in a multi-ethnic society. There's no getting away from it. I'm not saying that people shouldn't, you know, that they're not allowed to feel that they want to be with their own ethnic group of people. They certainly shouldn't be demonized with politically correct insults if they want to do that. But what I'm saying, on a political sense, to gain power through, we're starting at local elections, obviously, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get anywhere trying to going down an ethnocentric road, so to speak. So, you know, it's a complicated thing, but we're trying. And we, you know, my dream is to stop permanent settlement immigration. I want to see the day when they outlaw giving UK passports out to foreigners. It should never have started in the first place. But we openly say it needs to be stopped. People like Farage and Tyson, they'll never say that, because they know once they say that, once someone says, oh no, we've got to stop giving out UK passports to foreigners, straight away, it's been a mistake.
Here's the thing, Pat. I don't doubt that you're a genuine nationalist, right? You are, but what you're saying is we need to compromise to the situation we're in. Whereas what people like Steve Laws would turn around and say is, well, no, you can't compromise. We have to say this is how it is, or there's no point in doing it. So if you're prepared to compromise, why shouldn't we then just vote reform? Because at least they'll speak out against illegals. They'll stop mass migration.
Reform don't want to stop immigration. They don't want to stop accepting refugees. They're pro-Ukraine war. They're pro-vaccine and pro-Israel. So why would anyone want to support reform?
But they might do a bit. They might stop. They might try their best to stop it. They might further the agenda on it.
It's clearly in their manifestos that they want more immigration and more refugees. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So what I would say to you is, you're saying I'm compromising. Explain to me where I'm compromising.
Well, just accepting that this is a multi-ethnic society, and we need to work with these people, because there are. I mean, I'm not arguing about it. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people have got a lot of pushback. They're accusing you of, oh, you're trying to team up with the Muslims and blah blah blah, and you know, they'll eat you.
Okay. I'll say now, if Muslims do vote for me, I've had Muslims vote for me. They want immigration stopped. If people want immigration stopped, I don't care who they are. I want them to vote for me. We got another policy: no more foreign religious buildings in this country. Our identity is being taken away. We're losing our identity as a nation. And these people, Muslims, blacks, whatever, if they want to get on board and preserve this country, because many people came to this country because it was a white country and it was civilized, and it's fast becoming not that. So, and that was what I'm saying now was always the case in the BNP. I was in the BNP from 2012. Everyone goes on about Nick Griffin. Yeah, Nick Griffin modernised the BNP into an electoral force and terrorised the establishment, who basically crushed the BNP. And the BNP could have been in the same position as National Rally are in France now. National Rally are on the verge of getting into government. The BNP had modernised the same way.
But does modernising not mean compromise? Because look at the way she's pissed all over the legacy of her father. She's an ultra-Zionist now. I mean, is that actually going to achieve anything though? Like, you're compromising your core beliefs just to get into power.
Well, what I would say with the National Rally is there's a few things I don't like with them. Obviously, they probably modernised a bit too much. But at the end of the day, she is from a nationalist family. No one can deny that. Nope. And they're on the verge of getting a government. And at the end of the day, this is such a incredible moment in history that the National Rally are literally on the verge of getting into power. And Macron, he's to get out of this. The only thing he can do, in my opinion, is declare war on Russia, call martial law, and then cancel the elections, because you've got the EU elections coming up in June. It's going to be a clean sweep for National Rally and many other right-wing parties. Look, some of these right-wing parties in Europe, Geert Wilders, I know they're Zionists, but it's still a massive change.
Is this not Zionist control? This is kosher nationalism. Like, it's change they're allowing. They have allowed the anti-Islam stuff to come out. Like, they're deliberately letting it happen because it suits their agenda. So how? And then that kind of gets on to the point is I don't think there is an electoral way out of it. You do. How are your jailers going to let you break out of jail? Or are they going to maybe allow you to have a bigger cell? Are they going to allow you more time in the prison yard? Surely it should be about overthrowing the jailers.
So let's go back to 1982 when the BNP was formed. They were the first ones with the wanting to get out of the European Union. That's when the campaign started. BNP, from local elections, they won around 150 seats over the years. Absolutely terrified the establishment. The establishment, as you know, created, they didn't create UKIP, but they promoted UKIP to stop the BNP, right? Eventually, we got a 75% Brexit, right? We didn't get a full Brexit. But, I ask you this question, did it damage the EU?
Yes.
Right, but Thank you. Hold it there. Thank you. Hold on. So yes, right. That all from local elections, all from voting, we significantly damaged the EU. Now,
yeah, but what then happened is we significantly damaged our own country because we have been punished for Brexit. We voted to control the borders, and instead of less Polish people or Europeans coming in, less French, we've now just been flooded with Indians and Nigerians.
But that's because all the idiots voted for Tories. That's why that is. But so we damaged the EU, right? In Europe, you've got AFD, you've got National Rally, you've got Geert Wilders, you've got Sweden Democrats,
Orban in Hungary as well. But the
hold on. In Spain, you've got Vox Party, right? The EU is about to collapse, right? And this is all from voting, yeah? So I don't understand how you cannot see that voting can change things. Even Trump, when Trump got elected, that was from voting. So things can change.
But it is the change that they are. It is kosher. It's kosher change. It is the change that they are allowing. Because if you promote the real radical change that we would without that Zionist influence, they simply will not. Like, it is as I point out, it is it's like trying to deal with your hostage takers. Like we're trying to just do a deal with them to get a better,
let
more
me ask you a
water.
question. If the EU collapses in 2 years' time, it's no like it just collapses. Would you say that's because of voting?
I would say it will be due to probably a war with Russia or some sort of economic collapse. I don't necessarily think it will be due to voting.
Well, if National Rally get in power, they're going to win all the European elections in France, and the EU virtually, because if someone gets in a big country like the AFD and they want to leave the euro, it's over, and they could seriously collapse, and that's all from voting. So
But then they're trying to, they're going to maybe ban the AFD in Germany though. I mean, that's the other thing, Pat. They're trying to
Well, this is my next point. This is my next point, right? So I gave that example of National Rally in France. Macron may call martial law and declare war on Russia to get out of National Rally getting into government, but we've pushed them into that corner. We got to push them into the corner to show their hand. At least do that. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I think that is a fair point. Like it does allow you to push that into it, but obviously I think the change that we need is not going to come from them allowing us to do that. Pat, what was your take on, just a slight segue, the Iranian president who might possibly be dead visited Azerbaijan? Azerbaijan, of course, is a big ally of Israel. A lot of suggestion that Israel are behind this. I mean, pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, I've heard all about it, but I've got no idea. I mean, initially I saw reports that he was alive, so I don't know. Maybe he's alive. I don't know. But you know, the big thing is what's he doing in a 1980s helicopter? That's the funny thing about it. You know, if you're a leader of a country, I think you should have a bit of a newer helicopter, don't you?
Maybe he's humble, you know. Maybe he's with his people and he trusts the engineering capabilities of the Iranians. But I mean, if the Israelis are responsible for this, then like, do you think they're trying to push us into a war, Pat? Like, because all we hear about every day is war with Russia.
Of course they are. That's what my tweet was all about. Of course they are. They're, you know, since October the 7th, it's just been non-stop. You know, like, you know, we got to like attack, you know, Islam basically, and it's not our fight. And so many people are falling for it. The Zionist media are getting all these so-called right-wing patriots to go against Iran, go against Hamas. They've never attacked any other country. Well, Hamas have never even attacked any other country apart from Israel. And it's a long-standing dispute they got over land. You know, Palestinians had their lands taken off them. Simple as that.
Pat, look, here's the thing. Some of us will have some disagreements with the policy, but fundamentally, I know that you're not controlled by Tel Aviv. I know you're not paid. I know how hard you work. I know how much effort you put in. I know the doors you knock on. So look, you're a genuine person. I know that. How can we purge and root out these people who are basically, they're stealing all the money from genuine nationalists? They are doing that. They are profiteering off of this, and they are deliberately leading people up a garden path which they're paid from Israel. And you have done a good job the last few weeks of at least pushing back on that. How can we take back control of nationalism or patriotism in this country?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I kept quiet for quite a long time about Tommy Robinson. I've never liked him. I could always see what he was all about. He's basically agreeing with the state that it's illegal to have a white British group identity. He's going along with that narrative. And I thought he was going to fade away, disappear. But then October the 7th happened, and the explosion of just this anti-Muslim kind of propaganda was just so intense. And all the people were starting to follow Tommy Robinson with this narrative. So I just started speaking out about it, because it's just sickening to see. It really is that so many people can be fooled by someone like him, who is basically, like I said, promoting the idea of white British group identity should be illegal. He's pro-immigration. He's pro everything. He just, and then, you know, he tries to blame all the immigration problems of this country onto Muslims.
He clearly said we need to open the border to Sikhs and Hindus. We need more Sikhs and Hindus in this country. You know, he's and it's just so bad. And he's the guy that's put up there by the establishment as well, the same as Laws of Fox. So Pat, your ad again, he calls people racists. I mean, what was it he called you, Pat? What did he call you?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Calls them Nazis as well, which is a clear Can I just stress to everybody, Pat is very based, right? Pat knows the score, right? Okay, because I know Pat. I count Pat as my friend. Pat knows the score, but what you're kind of arguing for, Pat, is sometimes you just maybe have to, you know, just keep your mouth shut a wee bit, or just maybe suck a few lemons to try and get to where we need to be. You know, like, let me give you an analogy. Let's just say your wife's cooked a really shit dinner, or your girlfriend's, and her foods are cooking crap, or she's wearing a really horrible pair of outfit. Like, but you're wanting to have a bit of fun later. You know, do you not just have to say that's a lovely dinner you cooked, darling, or I really like your outfit? Is that what you're suggesting, Pat? We need to just tell a few white lies to get what we want at the end of the night?
Well, what I would say is I'm a realistic nationalist. There's a lot of nationalists who have got very unrealistic ideas, and you know, it's not really doing our movement any favors. It's just pushing people over to the Tommy Tars. That's what it's doing. So what I would say is, you know, we can't even convince the British public to stop immigration at the moment.
or should we not just say, look, right, you bend over, I'm here. Like, should we not just do that then, Pat? You know, instead of being nice about it.
But you know, going back to the political route, you know, I do find it funny, Dave, because I'll be honest, Dave, you know this. I would love to you know, promote your channel and tell people to come over, but you're saying there's no political roots. As a conflict of interest for me to then like tell people to watch UNN. You got the cancel culture heritage who come on here. You got what's it called, Workers' Party, Socialists. They come on here, and we're all political parties. So it just doesn't make sense.
I
saying there's no political route.
I personally don't believe there's a political route, but many of my audience still do. So, you know, we are a broad church of opinions. So I need to cater to the audience that we have. You know, I'm happy to. I just personally think that the Zionist power structure is so embedded and so deep that it's going to be exceptionally difficult to vote our way out of it. And I just see voting as an endorsement, because here's the thing, Pat, if we go along and vote, we're endorsing the system.
Yeah, but what you got to look at, Dave, is you got the LibLab Con, they've got the BBC, Sky News, Channel 4, you got Reform, Reclaim, SDP, and all those sort of Zionist parties. They've got GB News, and we've got no media channel, and that's you, Dave. You should be, you know, helping us. And
I'm helping you. I promote your stuff all the time and tell you that you're a good guy.
Yeah, but you're saying there's no political solution. That is not helping us.
But I'm just being honest. I'm just saying it as I see
your channel is all about politics, and you're inviting political parties on your channel. It doesn't make sense, Dave.
Well, it is a debate and it's an argument, and then fundamentally, though, that is a decision for the audience to make. I mean, I as much as I am a godlike figure, you know, in terms of my audience, they'll still decide to go and vote if they want. Many. I say to people, I don't think you should vote. I think you're endorsing the regime. Loads of people still go out and vote. You know, I mean, that's that. If some people still write letters to still write letters to Santa, Pat, hoping he's going to answer them one year.
I've already explained to you voting works. We caused damage to the EU. We've done some damage through voting.
Right. Okay, fine. But then here's the thing. I agree there is time, like maybe voting Galloway, but is it not just hoping for the best?
I really believe there's going to be massive political change in the next 2 or 3 years in this country. I forgot to mention that the reason we're slightly behind mainland Europe is because we had to fight for Brexit. And Farage took over the patriotic movement and handed it all back to the Tories in 2019. This is why we got no representation at the moment. We're just starting back at the beginning.
No, listen, see if we had a genuine party that... But my other interpretation, Pat, is it just simply isn't allowed. Like they destroyed the BNP. They're going to probably ban the AfD in Germany. I think if a genuine political party does break through, does make a difference, and does upset the apple cart, they'll just ban it.
Well, like I said, we've got to push them into that corner to force their hand. That's what we're doing. And I think it's worth doing what we're doing. There is a political route. The EU is going to collapse eventually in the next few years, and these Zionists, they've taken hold of a lot of these parties, but they're not in charge of our party. They're not in charge of the British Democrats. They're not in charge of the Workers' Party. I agree with certain things with George Galloway. He's anti.
Well, that's my argument. If people were to vote, my argument would actually be, if you want change, you'd probably be better voting for Galloway, because they are the only real party that is challenging Zionist power. They're calling it out. They're fully exposing it. Like, obviously, like, I don't agree with them on a lot of things. Like, if you're telling me the strategy has to be to hold your nose and do what you need to do to make change, I would then actually argue, well, there's no point in voting for a nationalist. You'd actually be better voting for a left-wing party, because they can actually mobilize numbers. They can actually upset the apple cart a lot more than a right-wing party can.
Well, we've got so many quite large political figures, British nationalists, telling everyone not to go down a political route. No wonder we haven't got anything viable. That's the problem. Galloway, good luck to him. We do need him to destroy the Labour Party, which will happen. The Reform Party hopefully will destroy the Tory party, and there's going to be a vacuum, and we need something there. The reason Calm won in London is because there was nothing in place to ready to go.
Can was there.
What was it? 60% of the people who were registered to vote didn't vote, because no one wants the Tories, no one wants Labour Party, but there was nothing in place. Because that's another thing. All the nationalist parties, get out of London, get out of Birmingham, get out of Manchester. No, National Housing Party are going to be standing about 6-7 candidates in London. I know it's not a lot, but we're not going to give up. And it's very easy to get people to vote for you. You just got to go and knock on the door, because they are so sick of the Lib Lab Con. But everyone's so negative, telling people to give up.
Listen, I know how much effort you put in. I know what you do and the sacrifices you make on a personal level. And then to hear someone like me shitting on it, I can understand that it's very, very frustrating. So look, at the end of the day, you need to do what you think is right. I need to do what I think is right, and then everyone will know that I'm right in the end.
Well, I don't think I'm going to agree with that.
I'm kidding. No,
credit to you, Dave. Dave, credit to you. You always let someone on. I did say to David, I don't really want to come on the show because you're pushing a negative message on the political route. But we come to a compromise, and you allowed me to challenge you on this.
I'm happy for you. I like you, Pat. I count you as a friend. I count you as one of the genuine people out there, and you know this. Like, as I point out, you actually know the score. You know exactly about your history. You know exactly about why we're in this situation that we're in.
Yeah, I mean,
more than most people.
Yeah, I'd literally just recorded a video. Like, got the old suit on and all that, and my next video is the Dover crisis is directly linked to the Jews. Okay, right?
Well, that's not mincing your words, is it, Pat? You're telling.
Well, that's the reality, and a lot of people don't realise it is. You see, and check out my Twitter and my Rumble channel as well, because we need some new subscribers to the Rumble channel. But that's the next video. So if you're interested in what that video is all about,
let me actually. So if anyone can do something tonight, is give you guys a follow on Rumble. Let me just actually put your chat there, guys. Go on over, give Pat a follow on Rumble. That sort of anti-Semitic content will probably go down quite well, Pat. So it's not. I mean, all these, as you say, do you know what really annoys me as well is, as you quite rightly pointed out, the way people that are supposed to be nationalists or whatever gatekeep these words. Like Lawrence Fox calls people racist. They call them, you should not empower these words. We should laugh at these words.
No. I won't validate them at all. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, National Housing Party is a realistic party. There are parties who want to just be with white people and all that, and that's fine. They shouldn't be demonised with politically correct insults for doing that. They can do that. But, you know, we believe that the way forward is, you know, you just can't get through local politics with an ethnocentric attitude. That's just my opinion, right? We want to stop immigration, no more refugees, no more foreign religious buildings being built in our country. We want to leave the WHO, leave WEF, leave NATO. You know, want to ban foreign ownership of property, business and land in this country. These are all nationalist policies. You know, at the end of the day, it's very, like I said earlier, it's very easy to get votes off people. They are desperate for a new party, but we just need people to stand in elections. That's the problem. No one wants to do anything. Got reform in the way. You know, they might play a good game by destroying the Tory party, but I fear that a lot of people are putting a lot of faith in them. They're going to be putting money in and a lot of activism, and they're not going to win one parliamentary seat in the general election.
Pat, listen, you're a good man. Thanks for all you do, and I appreciate your good work. And genuinely, you've gone out on a limb the last few weeks, and you've been pretty bold. So fair play to you, sir. All right.
But let me just say one more thing about the tweet. So the media, the Zionist media, wouldn't say nothing about the grooming gangs. Yeah, but as soon as Israel's involved, they want everyone to hate Muslims. Just think of that one. I'll leave that with that one.
Very, very true. Oh, it's true. Good man, Pat. Thanks very much for listening in.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.